You are about to listen to the Dr. Dahlia Show. Sassy, stimulating talk radio. And now, here's Dr. Dahlia.
Doctor, tell me true. What's a heart like mine supposed to do?
All right, we are back on the Dr. Dahlia Show. 1-877 Dr. Dolly, 1-877 DOCDALI. So there's been a lot of talk about how Americans are Islamophobic and they won't ever embrace somebody like El Sayed Ahmed. Here's my issue with that. Okay, I think Islamophobia may grow based on Abdul El Sayed. And his actions are not helping the Islamic community. Having friends and family who live very close with Muslims in Israel and in California, and we've seen such community between groups that is going to get hurt and destroyed, not by people's personal biases, but by what some of these candidates are saying. So, if you remember, in March 2026, there was an attempted attack at Temple Israel in West Bloomfield, Michigan. So, initially, Abdul El Sayed releases a statement condemning the anti-Semitic violence, praising law enforcement, stating Jewish Americans have a right to worship in peace. Fantastic. Great. I think we all agree. Just like what happened in Minnesota, the Catholic Church getting attacked while kids are in preschool. We all agree. We condemn violence. However, apparently what followed up from that is Abdul El Sayed later had video remarks addressing the attacker, Ayman Ghazali, an Arab American whose family members, including 2 children, he claims were killed by Israelis in Lebanon days prior. He said the attack could not be justified, but El Sayed tied the violence to the Middle East conflict, saying hurt people. Violence is a cycle. And he said that these remarks were a risk of an act of leadership. Now, of course, people were like, what are you talking about? So you're saying that in our Michigan community, there's going to be attacks because somebody feels across the globe that connects our community's temple and church. I mean, let's say somebody doesn't like what the Pope decides at the Vatican. You're going to shoot up a Catholic church? No. Somebody who died in this Nepal-China flood, and they feel it's because of the infrastructure and the lack of attention to safety measures. They're going to go to a Buddha or Hindu church and sanctuary in America? No. That was wrong. And so what I'm hearing from people, especially, with somebody like Abdul El Sayed, joining forces with Hassan Piker, we deserve 9/11. That's on us. Israelis deserve the Hamas attack, basically essentially say the kids deserve to be raped and beheaded. If you're associating with him, even if Abdul El Sayed goes, no, I'm not, I don't like what he says. Abdul El Sayed is kind of saying some of his own stuff. Now, I would never fear you elect somebody of any faith that's going to hurt other people's faiths. But if this is what he believes, there is a level of justification, then how aggressive and how judicious is he going to be with threats, with with in terms of criminal prosecution. And I get that he might be trying to appeal to his base, who wants anti-Israel rhetoric. And look, we can't even begin to comprehend the conflict of Hezbollah and Hamas attacking Israel. Israel's not at war with Lebanon. Years ago there was war. But the Lebanese government, they don't want to go to war with Israel. Neither Israel doesn't want to go to war with Lebanon. But if Lebanon's housing Hezbollah and Hezbollah is doing what they're doing, there's going to be attacks. And IDF is going to defend. And they're going to try to take out terrorists. We can't even comprehend what's going on there, but it should never affect our ability to worship. Imagine somebody going after a mosque after what Hamas did to Israelis, Americans, children. No one did. No one went and tried to blow up or shoot or drive a car through a mosque. And if somebody did, everybody in America, including Jews, would condemn that. Saying, why are you going after innocent people? Go after Hamas. But if your candidates Abdul al-Sayed is not helping the problem. I do not want to see Islamophobia. I don't want to see anti-Semitism. I don't want to see racism. I don't want to see, homophobia. I don't want to see any of that. But if you are going to be, Israel, let's bring back Israel. Let's, how are you running for public office in America? It should be a no-brainer that whatever happens in other countries should not affect how we treat our citizens. Now, we might have to do protections after seeing what Hamas did. Yeah, we might need to beef up protections because there's some really horrific anti-Semitism out there. And if there is Islamophobia, we want to protect our mosques. There was a shooting at a mosque. But in was it Australia? But we're not. What he has said and what he has, kind of tried to justify, wrong. 1-877 Doc Dolly.
This is an urgent announcement for anyone that's $10,000 or more in debt. Before you make another minimum payment, you need to know there are special programs that can completely free you of your debt. Total Financial Freedom can help you become debt-free in months instead of years. Resolve your credit card debt, signature loans, department store cards, internet loans, and timeshares. Call Total Financial Freedom now at 800-878-6020 for a free consultation. For 16 years, Total Financial Freedom has helped thousands get out of debt. You can feel confident when calling because Total Financial Freedom is A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau. Battling for years and years stuck in the endless cycle of minimum payments could take decades. You have the right to get your debt resolved and substantially reduce your monthly payments. Call Total Financial Freedom now at 800-878-6020. That's 800-878-6020. 800-878-6020.
Let's face it, guys, we're living in times where the truth is becoming more suppressed and censorship is increasing at an alarming rate, especially on social media platforms. It's Clyde, and I want to tell you about a safe and secure digital playground we put together just for you. It's aftermath.media. You get access to thousands of Ground Zero archives and podcasts, along with our private social media groups with your basic membership starting at only $7 a month. Each subscription includes tech support, access to the RSS feeds, along with our own chat room and Telegram channel. In addition, the premium membership includes research study groups, webinars, a document and movie library, a live video stream of Ground Zero, a monthly Zoom chat with me, and other bonus content. Be sure to check out our yearly specials as well. Sign up today while you're thinking about it. Sign up at aftermath.media. Again, that's aftermath.media.
You're back on the Dr. Dolly Show, 1-877-Doc-Dolly, 1-877-DOCDALI. Big thanks to Talk Media Network for making the show happen. Big thanks to Daniel, our producer, and big thanks to you all for tuning in. We really do appreciate it. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter or X at Dr. Dahlia, Facebook, The Dr. Dahlia Show, and on YouTube, click like and subscribe. So we have a tropical storm, Dolly. We knew Dolly when we were going through the different hurricane names. We knew Dolly could be a real humdinger. My nickname was Dolly in school. I love the name Dolly. I do. I miss Dolly Parton. But Tropical Storm Dolly has erupted in the Atlantic Ocean. Early forecasters saying it is going to probably be a hit. Not a hit in terms of like music hit, a hit in terms of hitting the United States. National Hurricane Center announced that Dolly had quickly developed into a tropical storm. Early this morning, it jumped past the first stage of cyclone development known as tropical depression. That's after you hit 40-mile-per-hour winds. Once it hits 74-mile-per-hour winds, it's a hurricane. Early spaghetti models, which track all possible paths, are showing a very strong likelihood that it's going to barrel towards Puerto Rico and the Dominican Republic. From there, multiple tracks predict the storm is going to hit Cuba, Bahamas, and then the coast of Florida. Now, one model is showing it could veer north, but it could still possibly hit the Carolinas. NHS officials, according to Daily Mail, have noted that Dolly may be a short-lived tropical storm, which encounters strong wind shear in the Atlantic, which could prevent it from becoming a hurricane and dissipate it. You almost need a slowing down, allowing it to hover and gain strength. But AccuWeather forecasters warn that there is a path for the cyclone to make it through the chaotic Atlantic air and then grow into a bigger storm closer to the eastern United States, especially if it gets to the Caribbean. So we're watching this. Lead AccuWeather hurricane expert Alex De Silva said in a statement, if Dolly can survive the dry air, wind shear, and land interaction near the islands, the environment does become more conducive for development and strengthening off the southeast coast mid to late next week. Now, heavy rainfall is going to impact the Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico, and Hispaniola this weekend. Puerto Rico is currently ranked as having the highest risk for tropical rain and severe wind from August 27th to September 9th. And sadly, with Hurricane Maria and previous hurricanes, these tropical storms are battering places that still don't have recouped from previous storms. I know a lot of people are like, well, they're naming this Dolly because, Dolly Parton had just passed. No, Tropical Storm Dolly was the next one in line. Dolly was already a name that was planned years ago. So the names for tropical storms, they're already set up through 2031. So hopefully this, is able to dissipate. It really depends on the track it takes. The El Nino year forms when the surface temperature from the Pacific Ocean becomes warmer than its historical average. Super El Nino means those temperatures rise by more than 3.6 degrees. This flips weather patterns worldwide, so we see more hurricanes in the Pacific where El Nino happens. But then in the Atlantic, it usually slows down. And the wind shear and drier air almost prevents the storm. So we want El Nino years for our Atlantic hurricane season. We don't want it for the Pacific, which is why we were kind of getting nervous seeing what was going to happen to Hawaii. But we don't get really hit that much with the Pacific storms. So El Nino, many forecasters are like, okay, good. We're in an El Nino year. But there could be other issues with that. Dolly is the fourth named Atlantic storm to develop this year. Hurricane season goes roughly from June to November, although some tropical storm activity sometimes happens in May, which makes them think that they might need to lengthen the hurricane season starting mid-May. But the peak of hurricane season is August, September. And here we are, end of August, going into September. This is usually when we start to see stuff that can affect America. So we'll keep you posted. The last tropical storm before Dolly was Cristobal. As you know, they go by letters, alphabetical order, and then they alternate between men and women. So Cristobal and then Dolly, or male-female names. Although they're probably going to be doing away with that now that we don't say that, a name is feminine or a name is masculine. So long-range forecasters have downgraded their predictions. We were told that there was going to be 11 to 16 hurricanes expected or large storms. Now AccuWeather has dropped it from 8 to 14. So good. However, 4 to 7 of these storms could reach hurricane strength. 3 to 5 named storms will make landfall in the United States, according to AccuWeather. Well, that's huge. So we do hope that El Nino weakens it, but there is still, unfortunately, a lot of risk. For those of you who, do live in affected areas, this is always the best time to prepare. Going to the store when all the water and supplies are gone or trying to board up, make sure you have everything you need now. And because you just don't know. 1-877-DOC-DOLLY, 1-877-DOCDALI. So, COVID is surging. And the dominant strain is the XFG stratus. I know a lot of people don't even want to hear about COVID. They don't care about it, but I got to tell you, I got it end of July. I'm still coughing. COVID sucks. But this is what I've seen. So when I had some early patients with COVID, or when the strain started early, I had called in a pharmacy, and usually the pharmacists are awesome. But one pharmacist on the phone, she's like, really? You're calling in Paxlovid for COVID's back? Yes. COVID is surging. Well, I haven't seen anything. Can you please fill the prescription? Thank you for the commentary. I do appreciate your opinion, but I'm telling you, COVID's coming, and we have patients with it. Well, did your patient test positive? Yes, they did. That's why I'm calling in the prescription. Can you please just fill the prescription? I'm like, what the hell's going on here? Are people now thinking doctors are just so obtuse that now they just have to question everything? I get the pharmacies got hit really hard with the narcotic overdosing, which I blame on cartels and China bringing in fentanyl. I blame the overdose deaths to that. But the pharmacies got in trouble if they filled some of these pill mill prescriptions. And I get how they're ticked off at the doctors because they were just filling the prescriptions. And I defended pharmacies on that one. Because you tell a doctor you don't want to fill the prescription, that's a problem. I only had one issue with the pharmacist. I'm not even going to count this woman questioning me, as it pertained to COVID. And, I hope she's reading the news. Duh. But the only issue I had is I wanted to change the medication of my patient for diabetes because I didn't like their kidney status. And the pharmacist talked him out of it. And the patient comes in for a follow-up, and their labs are not good. And I go, I can't believe this. So the medication isn't working. They go, what medication? The one I switched you to last time. And they said, the pharmacist told me not to. Why? Well, they said it was cheaper. It was the metformin, and just take more of it. I go, you have worsening kidney disease. Who was this pharmacist? So I called the pharmacist up. I go, I took the patient off that medication because of his EGFR, his glomerular filtration rate. It's getting worse. Why would you tell my patient to take more? Oh, I don't remember doing that. Oh, I was mad. And I knew he did it because the patient told me the name and the way she described what he said. I was just blown away because I never had an issue. Pharmacists are amazing. Pharmacists are your best friends. That guy was weird. But going back to COVID, I think the pharmacists are now convinced that COVID is there. I think, not sure what happened with that woman who was like, really? But they're increasing nationwide. Positive test rates climbing since June. Experts estimate that 10 to 15% of Americans could be affected by this latest wave. They say the updated COVID vaccines are supposed to strengthen protection. I'll leave that up to you and your doctor if you want to get the vaccine. Never should be mandated, should be personal choice. Talk to your medical provider. But this dominant strain is an offshoot of the variant known as the XFG or the stratus. It was first detected back in January 2025. So we're seeing the cough, horrible headache, horrible sinus pain, body aches, fever, but we're seeing a lot more GI issues. We're seeing a lot of nausea, vomiting, and diarrhea. This is confusing people because they're taking cyclospora and they're doing cultures to look for cyclospora with that outbreak and E. coli, and their cultures are coming back negative, but their at-home COVID test is negative. Keep in mind, their at-home COVID test might not pick up the strain. So if you're having GI symptoms and you're negative for some of these foodborne illnesses, get COVID rechecked. I think every state but 2 is showing positive tests and spikes. 1-877-Doc-Dolly. Don't go away.
At Hot Shot Secret, we share the science behind common diesel problems and their solutions. For example,
diesel fuel cetane levels.
in many states, the cetane rating in diesel fuel is 42 to 45. Most diesel engines operate more efficiently with a cetane rating of 48 to 50. One treatment of Hot Shot Secret Diesel Extreme will raise your cetane 7 points, increase fuel economy, and improve cold starts. Due to a cleaner burn, there are less hydrocarbons and particulate matter in your exhaust. This reduces the blockage of your diesel particulate filter. Using Diesel Extreme generates 83% less DPF regeneration. The 6-in-1 Diesel Extreme formula also includes the most concentrated detergent on the market, lubricity enhancer, water demulsifier, rust and corrosion inhibitors, and a fuel stabilizer.
Hot Shot Secret Diesel Extreme is available nationwide at truck stops, fine farm and auto stores, and online at hotshotsecret.com. Hot Shot Secret. Powered by science.
We are back on the Dr. Dolly Show. 1-877-Doc-Dolly. 1-877-DOC-DALI. So this is interesting. All right. The polls are kind of confusing people, and I really don't like polls. I really don't like politics, which is why I'm not going into politics. I'm fine with radio. Media is enough drama for me. I'm fine doing my media career. Thank you. And as well as medicine. A lot of drama there. But a lot of confusing numbers coming out where you're hearing Republicans may be able to hold on to a lot of the control they have in Congress, whereas you're seeing others saying they're losing. Democrats are going to control the House, maybe control the Senate. And when you're looking at the polls, the numbers keep changing, and then you have the DSA, and it's a kind of a chaotic time. But I like to just talk to people, and I do. I talk to people at the grocery store. I talk to people at the airport because I'm at the airport all the time. I talk to students. I talk to a lot of people, and by no means is that scientifically, statistically significant in terms of the data, but I'm seeing some trends. All right. On one end, you have people say Trump's ruining the economy. Gas prices are up. What's going on in Iran? I still can't afford a home. It sucks. I'm not voting for Trump. You have other people going, I still the same. No change since Biden. So they aren't blaming Trump. They're just saying maybe for them, it's other. They don't blame Trump. They blame still COVID because things really were screwed up. It's only been a year and a half since Biden left. So not really enough time to fix that. And so they're like, they're meh. I saw somebody post, crypto's up. Yay, Trump. Okay, you got a lot of people who invested in crypto. They didn't like crypto crashing. They want a pro-crypto president. You got other people really, really happy with their 401ks. So whoever, and I said this before, during the Biden election, during the midterms, it's who is benefiting and who's not. If somebody is really worried about their crypto, and that's a priority for them, and crypto is starting to rise, they're going to be happy. If somebody's really worried about gas prices, right, which sucked during Biden, still suck now during Trump. That's, gas prices are ridiculous. They went down, They went down considerably, but I understand what's going on with Iran. I get the conflict, but some people are just obviously very frustrated with that. They're not going to be happy. Housing has gone down. In fact, in Las Vegas, I think housing prices are starting to drop. It's about time. So housing costs are going down. So for those individuals who are like, look, I really need to get into a house, they might be happy. For those saying, I still can't afford a house, I need housing prices to go down to the 200s, they're not going to be happy. And so, it's interesting. I love political strategy. Okay, I don't want to be in politics, but I love advising Democrats and Republicans on their campaigns. And one thing I would maybe advise Trump and his team is you got a lot of young people that went into the crypto market. And you don't have a lot of the younger people necessarily in the 401k. Those are your older individuals. And those are going up nicely. But if you kind of want to get to those younger people, get the gas prices down, try to get the housing prices still down. They're coming down, but not fast enough. But get crypto up. Now, am I a fan of crypto? No. I only have a little bit of it. I can't see it because I bought a 0.00000027149 sliver of one Bitcoin. I don't know when it comes to me in the mail. I don't even know if I'll see it if it does, and what the postage would cost on that. But your younger individuals did invest. Many of them did get somehow in. A lot of people don't have jobs that are doing 401ks for them, not the younger generation. The X's and boomers, yes, and the millennials. And seeing their 401ks going up is huge. But based on the polls, still not enough from an economy standpoint. Get the crypto up. That's what the Trump administration needs to do. Democrats, what do they need to do? Well, what the Democrats need to do is be very, very careful not to reiterate the talking points that Biden made. Things sucked economically during the Biden years. So they got to be very, very careful because they don't want to sound like Biden again. They also, though, don't want to sound like a socialist or communist. They got to be very, very careful with that. Okay, because the Democrats hurt themselves by saying our commander-in-chief is physically fit and fit as a fiddle. He could still do the job. He could run for another term. And people are like, okay, wait a second here. Really? Even George Clooney, he didn't want to look stupid anymore. So they have to be very, very careful with their messaging. And they also give us how you're going to get the housing prices cheaper. None of these talking points of, well, we're going to give everybody free childcare. We're going to give, because Trump gave a lot of people tax breaks. They got extra money with their taxes. It was great. But if it's spent already, they're going to forget about it with the midterms. So saying, well, we're going to do this and we're going to do, are you really going to do the free childcare? And then, what does that mean? You're giving everybody an extra few grand to spend, and give grandma? Or are you actually going to have facilities? How are you doing that? Are you going to do something similar to the Trump accounts? A lot of parents like that. Are you going to extend those? Or are you going to reverse it? What are you going to do? Don't just give, because Obama gave checks out. That was really, really cool, but people forgot about it. Okay, you forget about the money. You can't just give the money. Retirement accounts, these Trump accounts, pretty smart. Are Democrats going to do something like that? Now, how do you get the gas prices down? Okay. Well, letting Iran rebuild, we're going to just kick the can down the road. We got to deal with Iran. We got to make sure that regime leaves and the Iranian people are free and get to hopefully make a democratic government. I don't know when that's happening. This is going to be a long, painful, looks like, much longer than anybody wants. But gas prices are starting to drop. But how are you going to do that? All right. If you just say, we're going to leave Iran alone, that's not going to win over voters. Okay. People have already seen now what Iran does. They're disgusting. Not to mention they are feeding Hezbollah, Hamas, Russia. If we want the Russia war to end and save money, we got to do something with Iran. So I'd like to hear, what are the Democrats going to do? Because they have an opportunity to take the House. They have an opportunity to get some more Senate seats. But if the economy sucked, a few years back, they have to explain how that's going to change. And they can't do it saying, well, we're going to make the stock market go up. The stock market's already going up. You can't be taking other people's credit. So it's interesting because there's as I said before with the voter, if the voter, really wants to buy a house right now, they're not happy. Now, if a voter really needs gas prices going down, they're not happy. If a voter needs their job not replaced by AI, they're not happy. But who's the voter blaming? Are they blaming Republicans for AI? Are they blaming Democrats for AI? Are they blaming COVID? Who are they blaming? And what are Republicans and Democrats going to do to preserve their job? Right now, I don't think the Republicans have an answer for how we're going to keep your job. Because the more people are getting paid, the more at risk they're getting fired. I just read another article that your seniors are getting fired left and right because they could hire cheaper people or use AI if you're making $20 an hour, $25 an hour, $45 an hour, $100,000 a year, you got a target on your back. What are the Democrats and Republicans going to do about that? So that's what I suggest. Have some, and don't just say, oh, we're going to fix it. No, what exactly is your plan? And we need details. The 1-877 Doc Dolly, don't go away.
Carl Amari here to tell you about our newest website for old-time radio lovers. It's 100radioshows.com. At this site, there are 5 old-time radio shows waiting for you to download free as our gift to you, and be sure to browse the additional 700 old-time radio shows available to you for 70% off by using the promo code RADIO at checkout. This is a limited-time offer, so log on to 100radioshows.com. That's 100radioshows.com.
Have you ever thought you'd like to buy and sell houses but didn't know how or where to get the money? My name is Ron LeGrand, and over the past 40 years, I've bought over 3,000 houses without using my money or credit and taught thousands to do the same. Today, even in a virtual environment, we buy nice houses in nice neighborhoods using no banks, realtors, contractors, or other costly entanglements, and build huge cash flow and wealth without the hassle of tenants, all without credit and little or no money. You don't need a license or experience, and I'll show you exactly how it's done. Text FREE to 99799, and I'll send you my free training. I promise you I'll change the way you think about real estate and open the door to a new lifestyle that doesn't involve risk or rehabs and can quickly replace your current income. Text FREE to 99799, and let me show you how to take your life back and build cash flow and wealth from your home. That's FREE to 99799. Again, FREE to 99799.
As an organ donor, your story doesn't have to end. The good in you can live on. In fact, you could save up to 8 lives and restore sight and health for many more. Sign up right now online as an organ, eye, and tissue donor. You'll be happy you did. And just maybe, someone else will be happy too. Go to organdonor.gov. It saves lives. U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Health Resources and Services Administration.
And we're back on the Dr. Dolly Show, 1-877 Dr. Dolly, 1-877 DOCDALI. Well, after I got my butt kicked this summer with COVID, I went in and got my shingles vaccine and my pneumonia vaccine. I went to Walgreens. They made it really, really easy. I made the appointment online. They know me, by name. And they're like, all right, good. I make it really easy for them because I wear like an off-shoulder shirt. Got it done, painless. And I've been going to Walgreens for all my vaccines. And of course, they are now rolling out, getting us ready for flu season. So as we're gearing up, we are going to be talking with, again, who's back on the show, Samantha Picking pharmacist and senior director of immunizations at Walgreens, about why now is the ideal time to make flu prevention a priority, particularly for older adults who remain among the most vulnerable to severe flu-related complications and hospitalization. So pretty life-saving information. PharmD, Samantha Pickey, Doctor, I really, really appreciate you being on the show. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
And so this flu season is going to be interesting. What concerns are you having about this flu season?
Yeah, it will probably be interesting. Now, what we know last year's flu season, it hit us hard. Flu cases rose sharply in December. They peaked earlier than expected. And that reminds us that the real danger isn't just how bad the season gets, but also how quickly flu can spread through your community if people are not protected. So what's concerning is, according to the CDC, fewer people are getting vaccinated each year, leaving us more vulnerable to the spread of these highly contagious illnesses like the flu. We've also seen many patients waiting to get their flu shot. So whether it's later in the season, maybe they're starting to feel more at risk, it's cold now, or they're hearing people are getting sick, and that's instead of getting protected before the virus is actually circulating. So what's important to remember is that vaccines remain a safe and effective way to prevent the spread of these highly contagious illnesses like the flu. And then because it does take about 2 weeks for your body to build protection from the flu shot, it's important to get vaccinated early, and it's one of the best ways to prepare for the season ahead.
Absolutely. Yeah, my concern with this coming flu season is because this COVID wave is hitting us. COVID competes with flu, and the fact that we're having our big wave now is suggesting it's going to subside, and then flu gets to take advantage of COVID subsiding. So I'm anticipating a more severe flu season. And you bring up also a very good point about some people waiting. One myth that people have is that their flu shot is going to, or concern they have, I should say, that their flu shot is going to wane. We can always booster the flu shot. So I wouldn't wait to think, okay, I just want the one and I'll make sure I wait till peak. You really want to get it early. And then if at all there's any concern, we could always booster it or, use the adjuvant. Is that correct?
Yeah, what's most important to remember, and especially around timing. So we're about to hit the best timing to get a flu shot to ensure protection through the full season. So that's September through October is the best time to get your flu shot, and that helps you build up immunity ahead of peak season, but also maintain immunity through the worst of flu season. And then, as you mentioned, flu vaccines are recommended for everyone 6 months and older every year. We can administer at Walgreens to anyone ages 3 and up. But then you have people who are 65 and older, and they actually have specific vaccines that are formulated for them to help boost that immune response, as you said. So they should get a high dose or an adjuvant flu vaccine, and the pharmacists have those in stock. They're well prepared, and that's what they would administer to anyone who's 65 and older or those that are immunocompromised.
Absolutely. And as I said, they make it very, very simple, very easy. Older adults are at higher risk. Talk to us about their risks.
It's a great point. So we know respiratory viruses can affect anyone, but older adults, infants, and then people with serious health conditions or uncertain medications, they face the biggest risk of severe illness and hospitalization due to weakened immune system. We know the immune system weakens as we age, and then when it comes to infants, they still are building up their immune system. If we look back during the 2024-25 flu season, 71% of seasonal flu-related deaths and 57% of flu-related hospitalizations occurred in people ages 65 and older, according to the CDC. So that's why protecting this group matters so much. And then the good news is we know that the flu shot really does help. So it can prevent you from catching the flu, but if you do get sick, it can also make your symptoms less severe and reduce your risk of ending up in the hospital. So generally, as I mentioned, now is the time, September through October, where your body needs to get the flu shot to allow it to build immunity before the flu season really ramps up.
Absolutely. And what makes flu very, very dangerous, what are some of the things that put people in the hospital is heart disease, stroke, but pneumonia. Pneumonia is a biggie. So talk to us about what people should be thinking about in terms of other vaccines as we're going into this fall and winter season.
Yeah, we want to keep in mind flu isn't the only illness we're circulating throughout the fall and winter. You also can consider other respiratory viruses or vaccines that can get ahead of the season for you. So adults 75 and older, or those 50 and older with chronic health conditions, they should consider an RSV vaccine. It's also important to stay up to date on other seasonal and routine. And as you mentioned, COVID-19, pneumococcal, shingles vaccines. And what's great is if you have questions or not sure about what vaccines you may need, your local Walgreens pharmacist can help you with that. They can assess if you're due for more than one, and then you can get multiple recommended vaccines in a single visit. So it's completely safe to do so, and getting it all at once is really the smartest and most convenient way to get protection as fast as possible, and then also just to get it all done in one visit.
Exactly. And, they handled my insurance and everything for me. And you're right. They were the ones, I'm pretending I'm 29. And the pharmacist is like, are you getting your pneumonia vaccine today too? I was like, no. Yeah, you're right. So they did. They were there. It was them reminding me, and I'm so grateful. So talk to us about where people can go to get vaccinated and where they can get their questions answered.
Yeah, for someone who needs a vaccination, they can walk in anytime to their local Walgreens. You can speak directly with the pharmacist. If you want to plan ahead, you can also schedule an appointment on Walgreens.com, in our app, or by texting FLU to 66879. So remember, your local Walgreens pharmacist is that trusted healthcare provider. They can help you answer any questions, concerns, or assess your vaccination needs. And then Walgreens.com, you can also schedule an appointment or find more information.
Plus, I have to say, we had some Walgreens rewards. So I had my husband pick up some Halloween candy. Now, I already ate it all, but that's also an added bonus. On my way out, I was able to get some Halloween candy, and we got the rewards, so that was good. Awesome. All right, one more time. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, that's exactly it. You can get a reward when you do get vaccinated, so you can get $15 Walgreens cash when you spend $5 on your next eligible purchase, and then 10% back in Walgreens cash on eligible purchases for the next 30 days. So when you stock up on that Halloween candy, you can still get an additional 10% back and build that up.
That's huge. And also another segment I'm going to be doing is for those individuals who during cough and cold season go, gosh, I can't find my Mucinex. I can't find, you might want to consider, if there are your go-tos for fall and winter, consider picking that up when you go and get your flu shot. This way you have it while everyone's pretty well stocked. So awesome. Let my listeners know, where can they go for more information?
More information, head to your local Walgreens and back to the pharmacy to ask questions, or you can go to Walgreens.com or our app, schedule an appointment, or find more information on vaccines.
Samantha Picking, you are awesome. So glad to have you back, and can't wait to have you back. Thank you, and have a safe flu season.
Thanks for having me back. Have a good one.
You too. 1-877-DOC-DOLLY, 1-877-DOC-DALI. So, people always ask about, the vaccine effectiveness and the numbers. And as I've said before, when you hear a number, let's say 55, or 40, on a very, very good year, the flu vaccine is effective up to about, 60-some%. Even if it's less than that, it still provides protection. So I'm a fan. Don't go away, guys. We'll be right back. 1-877-DOC-DOLLY.
Can you believe, with all the recent violent protests, looting, and destruction, some areas are considering either defunding or abolishing the police? At a time when America's neighborhoods need the protection of police the most, some elected officials would rather create more chaos by playing politics. If you're sick of elected officials caving in to demands of the radical left, you're not alone. It's time we stand up and declare our support for local police. The majority of police officers are important partners in protecting our God-given rights. If you prefer freedom over chaos, then learn how you can help protect the local police that serve your community. Call today and request your free Support Your Local Police info packet. Dial 800-JBS-USA-1. That's 800-JBS-USA-1. Request your free Support Your Local Police info packet by calling 800-JBS-USA-1 today.